So some Lions news did happen over the weekend. A lot of the good news being the signings, Jamal Adams, Quan Alexander, talking about new additions. But then there's other news. Jahmyr Gibbs accidentally showing protection calls in a photo in which I believe he posted on his Snapchat. I was going to make a video about this, and I decided why not? I'll share my opinion on it because it seems like Lions fans are pretty irate about it, and you're seeing more and more outlets post about it, specifically Packers outlets. Obviously, the Lions face the Packers this Thursday night, so it kind of matters. And Dan Campbell was alerted about it by Justin Rogers, and I'll share my opinion on that as well. But let's just play the clip. This is Dan Campbell being initially alerted about the photo from Jahmyr Gibbs, and I'll show the photo in a second. But here's Dan Campbell.
Gibbs, he had a social media post where there was a bunch of plays or partial calls on the whiteboard behind him. Is that something where you need to just remind a player to be smart about what they're posting on social media? Is there anything
Who's that?
I believe Gibbs posted a photo of Jefferson with a bunch of lingo on the whiteboard in the running back room behind him.
Oh, I didn't know that. Did not know that. Okay. Yeah, I need to check on that then. Did not know that. Yeah, I'd rather our stuff not be out there. Thanks.
Yeah, that didn't look like a happy, delighted Dan Campbell. I will say that. And on the Justin Rogers thing, I saw people. Why alert Dan Campbell? Are you snitching on Jahmyr Gibbs? No, he's not. Justin Rogers is doing his job, A, but B, he's helping the Lions because now Dan Campbell is alerted that Jahmyr Gibbs posted that photo. So therefore, you'll be able to prepare for the matchup this Thursday. What are you going to do? Let those calls just chill on social media until Thursday night when you face the Packers and change nothing? Oh, yeah, that's going to help you. So thank you, Justin Rogers, for alerting Dan Campbell about it. And now the Lions are going to have to essentially switch all of those protection calls or change the dialogue for him because David Bakhtiari tweeted out and said, this is not good. Obviously, he's a former Packer. He tweeted out, this is not good because schematically, a lot of the things are the same. A lot of teams use the same things schematically, but the difference is the terminology. That's what separates different teams. They're using different terminology. So a team will know what the call is based on the terminology they use. That's why when players get traded to other teams, they have to learn the terminology, not specifically just the play calls. You get what I'm saying? Or the plays. Does that make sense? So that's why Jahmyr Gibbs doing this is a huge L for the Lions. I mean, it's not good at all because now the Packers have protection calls. They have the terminology in which the Lions use for protection, which can be disastrous. When Jared Goff says something, then the Packers will immediately be alerted to what that is. Now, here's the photo that was posted. It was basically Jamar Jefferson dancing. And he says, this way better. Peep the camera work, though. So they're just having fun. But you can see in the background, drop back protections all throughout the whiteboard. I mean, you see Caitlyn Jenner, Khloe Kardashian, Winfrey, Ellen, purple Michigan Wolverine, karate belt, red, blue spider, red, blue gold. Like these things, this is the terminology they use for these plays, for the protection calls. So only the Lions are supposed to know this. Other teams knowing this information is not good at all. And you can see it's clear as day, the terminology right there in front of you. All of the protection calls. Julia Roberts, like this, Jahmyr, it's like the injuries are one thing, but this is why no phone should be allowed in any of these running back meetings, anything. No phones at all. Please, no phones. I know Shannon Sharp talked about it on his podcast, Nightcap with Chad. And they used to say no phones would be allowed in any of these rooms. That's probably a smart way to handle this. No phones. Just avoid this mistake. I mean, because that stuff is sacred information. So are the Lions screwed? Not necessarily. What they'll probably do, and not probably will do, is change a lot of these protection calls. It sucks that it's the week of, and now they have to kind of, instead of focusing solely on the Packers, they have to now focus on changing a lot of these protection calls to make sure that they're ready for the Packers. So the Packers don't know exactly what they're doing. So it stinks. Like, is it the end of the world? No. But this is just a young player mistake. You know, I don't want to say rookie mistake because he's not a rookie, but you get my point. A second-year player mistake, whatever you want to call it, a sophomore mistake. But it is bad. Like, is there going to be punishment? No. But I'm sure Dan Campbell, he seemed pissed at the end of that press conference. I mean, certainly. And he will not answer any questions about it either. Whenever I shout out to John, he tried asking. Dan Campbell said no comment. So they don't want to talk about it. But Jahmyr Gibbs, you cannot do this. This cannot happen. It is not good. It's valuable information. And Jahmyr Gibbs probably didn't know what he was doing. It was, a lighthearted video of Jamar Jefferson. So, it's not like Jahmyr had bad intentions or anything. But, man, if Justin Rogers didn't tell Dan Campbell about this, this could have gotten way worse. If they didn't get alerted that this information was out there, come Thursday, this could be a disaster. So, for all the people saying shame on Justin Rogers for ratting out Jahmyr Gibbs, take a good, hard look at yourself in the mirror and ask yourself, is that a stupid thing to think? Because most likely it is. Justin Rogers did the right thing. He absolutely did. And you need media like that for that reason, to make sure information that needs to be known is known. And Dan Campbell knowing that Jahmyr Gibbs did this is a must. He just has to know. So the Lions can, self-scout, change their protection calls, and make sure the Packers aren't a step ahead on Thursday. Like, they're already a really good team. If this was the week of the Titans or whatever, yeah, of course. It's different. But it's not good. And those are probably the protection calls they've been using all year. So, not good, but they will be fine. Not nothing to freak out about long term. The Lions aren't, doomed, but it does stink. It does stink. But what do you guys think about this whole thing? I'm curious. To me, it stinks. It's inexcusable by Gibbs, but at the end of the day, at least the Lions were alerted. They're going to change all those protection calls. It sucks it's the week of, but they will be fine long term. Ben Johnson even says it himself. Like, they use different plays every single week. Like, he's always cycling out new plays. So protection calls, I'm sure it's not the end of the world. They can change it, but it is what it is. Comment down below. Leave your thoughts. I'd love to read them. Love to check it out. And check out our live show tonight, 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Until then, we'll talk more about it. I will catch you guys. Hey, what's going on there? It's Jeff Iafrate. Appreciate you for finishing the video. You can check out one of the videos here suggested or show support by commenting, liking, and subscribing. And buy your merchandise, officialctsports.com.